going to go over Syndrome X, insulin resistance, things that I want you to look out for, some very mild signs, but they can really turn into something serious. So I want you to be aware of how serious that can get. So don't take it lightly if you have a few of these symptoms or signs. Really start making some lifestyle changes. And when I say lifestyle changes, your basic being active and changing your diet just a little bit, making sure you're just a little bit healthier choices. Don't restrict yourself completely because you'll fall off the bandwagon. Willpower is definitely hard. I mean, we all just had Thanksgiving and then Christmas, and now New Year's is coming up. So we've got the turkey and the pies and then all the candies and probably all the alcohol for New Year's. So, our bodies are being slammed these last few months with some not so great stuff for the body. So I'm sure you're starting to feel some of the after effects of all of it. All right. So when it comes to Syndrome X and insulin resistance, again, you're going to want to pay attention to these signs. You do not have to be diabetic to have any of this. I know when you hear insulin, people automatically relate diabetes to insulin. Okay, so keep in mind, you do not have to be diabetic to be dealing with any of this. All right. Lifestyle definitely plays a role. Stress, sleep, genetics, ethnicity, you name it. There are so many different things that play a role in this. Thank you so much, Nick. I appreciate that. All right. So in metabolic syndrome, pretty much the same thing. When I talk about any type of metabolic health, we're looking at triglycerides, cholesterol, A1C, blood sugar levels. Okay, so if you hear me talk about that, that's what I'm referring to. If you hear me talk about Syndrome X, I'm referring to insulin resistance. Guys, if you have any questions as I go through this, please ask. I love questions. I love it when you guys are communicating through the chat as well too. All right, so we're going to start off with some things that you might be experiencing here. I'm going to pull this up. Let me flip the camera around so you guys can see what's going on here. All right, so if you are dealing with, and I'm going to go more in depth on these, I promise. But again, this is Syndrome X or insulin resistance. And I'll go through a lot of these here. I mean, these are just some of what you would experience. That's crazy. Anywhere from type 1, even type 1.5, pre, type 2, and gestational diabetes. Okay, mind you guys, when I mentioned earlier, you do not have to be diabetic to have Syndrome X or insulin resistance. Okay, certain cancers, I will go over certain cancers. Okay, I'll show you a few studies even on breast cancer. Heart disease, several different heart diseases play a role in this as well too. Obesity is never a sign. Probably one of the most common signs would be obesity. If you have the apple or pear-shaped body where you're holding your weight in your belly, you're really struggling hard to lose that weight. High cholesterol, fatty liver, you guys, that also plays a role. PCOS for women. Alzheimer's or any other type of memory decline, neuropathy, which is also linked to visceral fat. I will explain the different types of fats for you guys as well. Blindness, that coincides there with being diabetic. Kidney failure, retinopathy, erectile dysfunction. You guys, there's so many things that pertain to Syndrome X. All right, and that's just some of them. So let's go over what you may see on your body that could be concerning, okay? All right, and I'll get a little more in depth with all of this as well too. Let me get that whole picture in for you so you can see it all. All right. If you hear a loud crash, that just means I probably fell off my chair. I've been a little clumsy this morning. You have a good laugh. Okay. So when you're dealing with Syndrome X, as I like to call it, most people know it, insulin resistance, you are going to be dealing with migraines, aches, pains. So inflammation plays a massive role in Syndrome X or insulin resistance, okay? So when you start noticing your body's just really inflamed, maybe you have autoimmune disease, maybe you're having gut health issues, pay close attention to that because that's something that you're going to notice when you're dealing with this. I mentioned high blood pressure earlier, but you're also going to start seeing those triglycerides because now you've got the fat filtering into the blood, especially when you're dealing with that belly fat. So I mentioned earlier, those of you that are just joining, pay attention to where you're holding your fat because that's going to be a big sign of syndrome X or insulin resistance. So if you're like a pear apple type shape, you hold your fat in your midsection. Now, here's another cue that you can check on yourself. So let me explain the different types of fat here. So we've got subcutaneous fat. That's the jiggly, softer fat that's right beneath the skin. So poke at your belly right now. If your belly is soft, that's subcutaneous fat. That is better than having visceral fat. I'm not saying I don't want to say healthier fat. I'm going to say better than visceral fat, okay? So visceral fat, that's the fat that is also linked with neuropathy. That fat surrounds your organs. We do need some for protection, but when you start getting too much, this is going to really wreak havoc on the body. Now, touch your tummy again. Is your stomach hard or is it soft? If it's harder, you've got more visceral fat. If it's soft and squishy, you've got more subcutaneous fat, okay? That's at least better news if you have the subcutaneous fat, all right? It's going to be a little bit easier to get rid of there. However, it can quickly turn into start building up of that visceral fat. So there's something you can do right now. Skin tags. Skin tags can be anywhere on the body, you guys. They can be on the back. They can just, literally be anywhere on the body. So pay attention to having those skin tags as well, okay? Same with skin discoloration, not just on the neck. Let me show you this here. And it can be moderate to severe. It can look splotchy like this, okay? It can be a little pass-through line on the back of your neck. It can be on your knuckles, elbows, knees, right? It could be around the mouth here, and it could be in the armpits. Skin folds too around the groin area. So start looking. Pay attention to what you got going on with your body right now. Your body's trying to give you signs. Listen to your body. It's giving you a sign that's saying something is not okay. All right? So pay attention to that. Now let's get into some hormones that greatly are affected with Syndrome X, or as you know, insulin resistance. When it comes to hormones, let me know if you can see this whole thing. I can lower the camera just a bit here. Let me know if that's good for you guys. Okay, so I mentioned most everything up here. We've got cravings for salty, sugary foods, and I'm not talking just, around that time of the month, ladies. It can be after you're, done eating a meal. If you're feeling really tired, what do we usually do? We grab something to keep us awake and give us that pop of energy. Always tired. If you cannot figure out why in the world you're always tired, maybe you're sleeping enough, you're taking a break from work, whatever it is, but you're still feeling that fatigue. That's your body struggling to keep up with everything that's going on, all right? Inability to lose weight. I just explained the subcutaneous and visceral fat. And again, you're always hungry. You eat, you're back in the fridge looking for that snack, whether it's a habit, whether it's boredom, whether your body just wants food because you're having blood sugar crashes, okay? Winnie. No, it is not. So let me give you an example here. So what I like to do, let me flip the camera so I can talk to you about this, okay? All right, that way you can see me face to face here. I like to educate people first. All right, this is what's going on with your body with Syndrome X, insulin resistance, okay? Things that you can look out for. I also very strongly feel that you've got to make lifestyle changes such as food, so your nutrition and your activity level. All right, it's like a puzzle piece. You start bringing in pieces, okay? So when somebody is taking a supplement, have you ever gone online or to a store and have you ever bought protein powder or multivitamins? Okay, So, or a Metamucil or Benefiber, all right? So if you are wanting to purchase that, you do not have to distribute like I do. This has changed my life. It has changed my clients' lives. And thank you, Jason. It is, yeah, pyramids are in Egypt. It is a franchise. So it's completely different and upside down as most would think. Usually when people are uneducated about something and they're, giving that negative feedback with it, it's because they're just unaware. It's the unknown, and that's okay to be skeptical. Okay, but here's the thing: if you're online and you're looking for supplements, amino acids, protein powder, omega-3s, you're supplementing. You're putting back in your body what we are not getting from our diet. Okay, so you could merely be a customer and just purchase like you would from a grocery store, an online store, okay? So I like to clear that up. I know there are so many things out there right now. Pay attention to the scientific backing, the studies, the peer reviews. That is incredibly important, okay? Don't just assume it's going to be a great product. And as you see here, I will go through studies. I will give you those websites. I always recommend you guys go out and do your research, okay? That is incredibly important to me. I'm heavily on the science of things, doing my own research. So make sure you do that, all right? Yoli, that's amazing. So Winnie, there are a couple things you can do, and if you choose to, in my profile, I'll just pull it up before I jump further into things that you guys can do to help this really quick. But let me pull something up here. Winnie, if you want to contact me, I have a Linktree/ChristyFit right there on my main page. There's a contact form in there, and I can go over ways that you can lower that price if you choose to. However, if you are dealing with some severe health issues, you have to weigh the odds here. What is it worth to me to feel good, to get my life back on track? What is that worth? For everybody, it's going to be different. And I will get to a little bit more in detail, but I'm going to mention this since you are talking about this, is there is that 90-day money-back guarantee. But within those 90 days, if you sign up, you work with me personally, if you sign up with my link, I will help you with nutrition. I will help you on the physical realm if you're interested in that. I hone in very heavily on that, and I do take that very seriously. Obviously, you don't have to, but I like to make sure all my clients have a very good understanding of what's going on with their body and how they can further progress in a lifestyle change with their health, okay? Hopefully that answered your question. So let's see. Let me flip back. I will get back on track. I'm so sorry for that squirrel moment. I love questions, you guys. No question is done. Don't feel embarrassed asking a question. If it's private, contact me. We'll do a phone call, we'll do texting, we'll do email, whatever you prefer, and I can help you out there, okay? So let me flip this back around here. Yoli, if you can contact me, let me flip the camera and I'll show you exactly how to contact me. And we can discuss a couple different things here. Okay, so this is my main page profile. If you click on that ChristyFit link tree here, you'll just click on, if you guys can see that, contact Christy for more information. It'll take you to my form. I also have everywhere else where I'm at on the internet here. You guys can check out as well too, okay? I also have my personal training website, Christy Fit, which is also on there. So if you guys want to learn about me a little bit more and the people I've worked with, you can also check that out. And pretty much right when you Google Christy Fit, I'm the only one that pops up. You'll see my picture all over the place. Okay, so let me get back into these hormones here. When we're dealing with Syndrome X, or insulin resistance here. Let me talk about men first. So men, if you guys are dealing with that belly fat, I mean, you could have all of these too. You're tired, you're fatigued all the time. Men are going to experience erectile dysfunction, loss of strength or stamina, man boobs, fat accumulation around the waist. And that's where you're going to see that subcutaneous visceral fat coming into play. Okay. You can't sign up with multiple people. Once you have an email with that person, you're linked to that person. So the email is going to be the key factor in being linked to that person. I hope that makes sense. And again, Yoli, we can talk about that if you want to send me a message there with my contact form. All right, so let's talk about female hormones and what happens here. There is so much information with PCOS and it being linked with insulin resistance. So if you're dealing with PCOS or even PMS, mimics a low thyroid too. So if you've done your research and you swear up and down you've got something going on with your thyroid, but you get it checked and there's nothing there, all right, there you go, mimics a low thyroid. Adult acne, infertility. Let me touch on infertility. There can be multiple things that play a role with infertility, right? So not just insulin resistance or syndrome X can play a role in infertility. It can be a part of it, but you may have something a little more serious going on. I just wanted to clear that up, that you weren't thinking just insulin resistance played a role with infertility. Okay. Hair loss and excess facial hair, especially with PCOS, excess facial hair, back hair, chest hair, especially around the nipples, not fun to have, ladies, right? And a lot of that is due to hormonal imbalance. Okay. Let me see here. Sorry, I'm trying to look at everything here. Exactly. Yep. I already went over subcutaneous and visceral fat. I can touch on that if you have some more questions. Nani, let me know. I love that name, by the way. Okay. She's been to her insulin. Yeah, so not necessarily if you're a type 1. Yes, you can reverse insulin resistance. So if we're looking at all the way from type 1 to gestational diabetes. So we've got all these right here for being diabetic. Okay. All of that. Now I've got a few type 1 diabetics and they are mostly children. All right. They're adolescents. And so with them being on this system here, what happens with that is they are able to lower that dose of insulin. Now I do have some that they cannot afford to drop weight. And I have some that needed to drop weight, okay, because it can go both ways. So getting this a little bit under control, say for kiddos that need to put excess weight on, they're too small, this can help their body. So when they are taking that balance, it's going to slow down that digestion a little bit. It's going to help them, give them more vitamins and minerals so they can start putting on that weight, that good lean muscle mass, especially during puberty years. Now, if they have some weight to lose, it's going to help reverse with that insulin resistance. So the only diabetes that you really can reverse is going to be your type 2, your pre-diabetes. And then, of course, you've got gestational, which typically only lasts while you are pregnant. And I do have pregnant mamas and nursing mamas on the system too. Type 1, of course, that'll never be reversed. Your body just physically can't do that, okay? So I have all walks of life when it comes to being diabetic on that. Let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I catch all these questions for you guys here. So she does the shots. They do have the monitors that they put on the arm now. I've seen a lot of kids with those that will just put out as they need it. So it has the readings, and as it starts to dip, then what it does is it just shoots out some into the body. So they've got a couple different things that they can do for kids, because sometimes it's really hard for kids to remember, especially if they're new at it, to take that insulin, or to get it quick enough, or maybe they just don't like the needles. Okay. All right, let's see here. All right. Okay, I'm going to continue with this. Thank you, Jason, for answering that question for me. I greatly appreciate it. All right, so just went over signs, symptoms. I like to call Syndrome X. Same thing basically here is insulin resistance. Your metabolic health plays a huge role in this too. So if you are dealing with if you're dealing with metabolic syndrome as well, those are all linked. They all have a lot of the same side effects here, the same symptoms, the same signs. Okay. So no, on to the next. Okay. Dizzy worm. I am getting there on what you guys can do. I'm going to talk about an amazing supplement that you guys can take as well to help reverse this, especially if you're really struggling, say, trying to get your food in check. Maybe you don't have a lot of time to spend at a gym, or maybe, like to do things at home. So I will go over that for you guys as well, too. Let me see what else I missed here. So cortisol. Yes. Okay. So cortisol, that's tricky when you have high cortisol. You're going to have to be very careful. Now I'm going to talk about intermittent fasting. So when you have high cortisol, you've got to be really careful with, let me flip the camera around while I talk. Okay. I don't like you guys looking at that. I like you looking here so I can talk to you. So when somebody has high cortisol, it's really not in their best interest to do very long fasting periods, okay? If you're fasting alone, you don't have tools to fast. That's key. So if you're trying to do some fasting on your own, be very cognizant if you do have high cortisol, because that can actually skyrocket your cortisol even more and put more stress on your body. We all fast while we sleep. Keep that in mind. So let's say you eat dinner at 7, you wake up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. If you do not eat until between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., that gives you a 12 to 14 hour fast right there. So that's great. That's phenomenal. That's a good start, especially those for high cortisol. Now, when you have that high cortisol, there's 2 stress hormones. Cortisol is that main one, right? And I'll talk a little bit later about that cortisol with you guys. So if you don't have a tool to help give your body those nutrients to take away some of that stress, the oxidative stress, all of it, even if you are active and working out, you're going to the gym, because again, you're still putting that stress on your body, right? We have that. If we've got to take care of something quick, let's say there's an emergency, cortisol is really great for that, because guess what? It's going to skyrocket. We're going to get something done. But if your body is always in that red state, that high stress, that cortisol state, then you're going to have some issues. So be cognizant of your fasting times. Make sure you're getting enough. People say calories. I don't go off calories. Macronutrients, carbs, fats, proteins. Calories are not created equal. When people ask me, hey, how many calories should I eat? Don't ask me that, because I'm going to say, I don't care. I don't care what calories you're eating. What I care about is how many carbs and fats and proteins that you're getting in. Those are your macronutrients. What I also care about too is your micronutrients. Your micronutrients are going to be those minerals, the vitamins that you need to get into your body, which is missing from a lot of the food we have nowadays, okay? And that stems from a lot of the soil, how much it's being tilled, over-processed, the pesticides, the chemicals that are put on it. Really, that's where it starts. And then as you keep growing those plants, the more they get modified to be bigger and sweeter, they're pulling out everything we need, okay? All right, so I'm going to flip this camera around again, go over a few more things. I'll start getting into intermittent fasting and fiber, okay? All right, let me switch this over here. There we go. Okay, let me see what I missed. Sorry about that. I wasn't looking at the... Catherine Moore. Okay, so I'm talking about Syndrome X, or as you guys probably all know, are more familiar with, insulin resistance, okay? All right, so I just gave you a lot of the signs and symptoms I want you to look for. Now, let's go into 2 things that are going to help you reverse this. All right. I'm not saying it's going to be your save all, but let me tell you, it does amazing work when you incorporate these two things. Okay. So let's start with intermittent fasting. Now, let me give you a little bit of a lesson here on metabolism and insulin here. Let's see if I can zoom out just a little so you guys can see that okay. Okay. Our metabolism is controlled by our insulin, right? So when your insulin is low, you start burning that stored fat. So your body is finally able to catch up. You're finally able to burn fat. Now, when your insulin is always elevated, this is what happens. You burn sugar and store fat. So let me explain what burning sugar means. Burning sugar means you sit down for a meal. Say you're eating right now, okay, with your meal. Your body is trying to burn what you're putting in your mouth currently at this present time. It is not touching your stored fat. Whatever you're not burning as you're putting in your mouth, guess what? More of that comes over and gets stored. More comes over and gets stored. So that's what this means. When your insulin is high, you burn sugar and you store fat. All right. So let's discuss fasting. The best way to reduce your insulin level is to increase the space between your meals. So I just mentioned we all fast while we sleep, okay? So again, if you are you're done eating at 7 o'clock at night, you don't eat again till between 7 and 9 a.m. the next day, that's a 12 to 14 hour fast. That's pretty dang good, you guys. That's a good start. And again, remember what I said about cortisol. If you don't have the tool to help you with fasting in the morning, you're going to want to keep that fasting a little bit shorter to not spike up your insulin levels or your cortisol levels. Okay. So now we've got this big fasting period while you're sleeping. Now, when you go to break your fast, I highly, highly recommend breaking your fast with protein first. Okay. No, coffee, if it's black, it will not break your fast. Absolutely not. So if you're not dumping a bunch of sugary things in there or half and half or creamers or whatever it might be, that won't break your fast. But if you're just a black coffee drinker, go for it. Absolutely. All right. So when you are ready to eat for the day, try your best to prioritize protein and healthy fats. All right. So if you're a meat eater, that could be any source of meat. If you like red meat, that's got great sources of fat in there. We do, however, want to watch our omega-6 fats, all right? That's more of the troublesome fat. So be very cognizant of that. Make sure you pay attention to labels. Now, after we're done eating, this little fire here in between meals, because again, we want to reduce the space or increase the space between our meals. So you want to give yourself 4 to 6 hours in between each meal. All right. Why? Because we want that insulin to come down. Because remember, our metabolism is controlled by insulin. Okay. So you want to give yourself 4 to 6 hours in between here. All right. And good. That's a great fast, Lynn. That's a wonderful fast. And then make sure when you break your fast, guys, drink plenty of water too. I cannot stress the water enough. Please drink your water. It will not break your fast. So when you do break your fast, try and really prioritize protein. The older we get, the more protein we need. Our bodies need more protein. Protein is incredibly important, helps keep us fuller longer, brain function, helps with our lean muscle mass. And of course, that's a lot harder the older we get. I'm in my mid 40s. I've been working out for since I was about 10-ish, 10-ish. Being very active, and I now have realized I have to push a little bit harder on certain things, which is unfortunate. So that kind of hit hard. I hit 40 and I'm like, oh my goodness, here we go. All right. So get that fasting in. Try your best not to do those sugary energy drinks, nothing like that. Watch what you're putting in your coffee. I'm going to be a little spoiler here for a second and talk about coffee. And I'm so sorry for those coffee drinkers. Trust me, I love coffee too. Here's the thing. Coffee is one of the most chemically treated crops in the world, unfortunately. Okay. So about up to 250 pounds of chemical fertilizers are sprayed per acre of conventional coffee. So be very cognizant of the type of coffee that you're getting if you are a coffee drinker. Watch how it's processed. Is it organic? What are they doing to get rid of any type of pesticides? Is it going through a strict cleansing process? So be very careful of that, okay? Plus, you may have a caffeine crash. We all know when we try and stop some sort of caffeine, guess what? We get really bad headaches, right? So that's the downer part of coffee. And again, I still every now and again like to have a good coffee. We have a place here, an Afghan place that does their food and coffees, and they have a phenomenal coffee with saffron. Now, saffron is awesome because it's going to help with inflammation. If you have a low libido, it's supposed to help with that. So I absolutely love it. Yoli, so are you talking about the Unamate tea or just tea in general? Because tea in general you should be absolutely fine with. Again, it's all what you put inside that tea, okay? Yeah, thank you, Jason. Keep sugar and dairy out of either. Absolutely. Tea's great. Yeah. So now let's go into actually, before I go into fiber, I'm going to talk about, there's a 2-part on the supplement that I heavily use with my clients. And since I'm already talking about fasting and morning and coffee, I'm going to jump into Unamate and the benefits for you guys. Okay. And Yoli, since you are on this, this will help you learn a little bit more too. So yerba mate, we're all very familiar, most of us, with yerba mate. A lot of people ask me, hey, what's the difference between your Unamate and your yerba mate? So let me explain this to you guys, okay? So there are 375 times more chlorogenic acids in Unamate than any over-the-counter or commercially available yerba mate powder. What are chlorogenic acids? Chlorogenic acids are going to help with your mood. They're going to help with triglycerides. There's also a molecule that's extracted called triterpene out of that helps with weight loss, okay? You absolutely can, Ghost. I just had a protein drink myself. So especially when it's earlier like this, I just go for a protein shake. Absolutely, that is completely fine. Yeah, Jason, perfect. I love it. Thank you. Okay. Now let's talk about tea. Someone was asking about tea earlier. The difference between a regular tea or a green tea and the Unamate is Unamate has 100 times more chlorogenic acids than any green tea. Okay. And coffee, a good coffee, guys, like a good organic, clean coffee, it's got 10 times the amount of chlorogenic acids as a cup of coffee. Sorry, the UPS guy just waved at me thinking I was waving at him as I was trying to focus on this. It was a squirrel moment. Okay. So let's talk about the difference here between yerba mate and Unamate so you have a good understanding about this product here. Again, I will always back up everything with studies, scientific research, so I will get there, I promise you, if you can bear with me here. So yerba mate, that's just a South American herb. That's all it is. Those natives can actually sustain their human life on yerba mate alone because of the vitamins, and it also contains 7 out of 9 essential amino acids. Our body only produces so many amino acids, so we've got to pull them in from other sources. Now, the difference, I just went over the chlorogenic acid between yerba mate and Unamate. So here's what else stands apart in this. I get this question a lot. Doesn't yerba mate leaves cause cancer? Okay, so I'm going to explain this. Now, when you go through the process of fire roasting, when you fire roast something, it eliminates harmful substances. And if you do not take it through a phenomenal EFLA hyperpure technology purification, okay, you're going to have those harmful substances. So it's got to go through this process to pull them out so you're getting the cleanest, pure product for your body. We do not want to cause more issues in the body, right? We want to prevent that. We want to reverse it. We want to help it, Okay, so there's no added caffeine in this. It just has that natural caffeine. It's not going to cause jitters. It's not going to keep you up all night. All right. So let me go over some facts here on this with you guys. And again, I will validate all this for you. So Unimate is taken in the morning. So if you are trying to fast or you're waking up and you don't want to eat your sugary foods or go for your sugary coffees, this is what I was talking about having the tool to help you fast. So if you have high cortisol, this is going to be your best friend with that. It's going to take down that stress in your body, especially that oxidative stress. So it's going to reduce your oxidative stress by 50% there. Okay. Now, again, we're trying to keep our insulin low, right? So we want to burn more fat while we're doing this. So when you wake up in the morning and you're drinking your Unimate in a fasted state, now you are increasing those ketones, those natural ketones that you have by 80%, which is then leading to an increase of fat burning by 24%. Okay, that's what we want. We want to tap in to the stored fat. Okay, we don't want to burn what we're currently in present time eating. We want to burn our stored fat. We don't want it. Okay. Again, it helps with well-being, relaxation. So after you drink it, you're going to see a big increase in your mood, your cognition. You're going to feel good. All right. You're going to feel a little bit clearer. Again, it just goes to reiterate on the metabolic health that I talked about earlier. You've got some help there in reducing your cholesterol, your triglycerides, your fasting blood glucose, and your A1C levels. All right. Let me look here. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to the comments. And of course, Jason, you are on it and amazing. Thank you. Okay. So if you are doing the insulin resistance too with your metabolic panel, I'm going to show you this website real quick since you guys are asking questions on that. So there's a website called The Blood Code. So if you go to thebloodcode.com/calculator, and you've got your blood work there, you can enter in your numbers here, and it's going to give you some reference ranges. So optimal range is between 0.5 and 1.9. Some insulin resistance there is going to be between a 2 and a 3. Significant insulin resistance in heart disease is found in ratios greater than 3. Okay. So I'm going to go over some of the major things that can happen when it comes to being insulin resistant. Again, such here as heart disease, certain cancers, diabetes, dementias. There's a ton of them out there. Okay. So this is going to be your tool for fasting. You wake up, you drink that Unimate, reap the benefits of it. It is phenomenal. So we're trying to put back in our body what we are not getting any more into our food. All right. So I want to touch on something pretty serious here really quick before I go over the balance and fiber and the benefits of fiber here. Fiber plays a huge role in actually certain cancers. Okay. And I will show you that in just a second. So I'm not going to go over diabetes very much unless you guys want me to, other than when you are type 2 diabetic, you've got about an 80%, up to 80% of the people with type 2 diabetes are going to develop non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Okay. So if you have one disease, it's going to domino effect into something else if not taken care of. All right. Now let's talk about, cardiovascular disease here. So when you are insulin resistant, or as I like to say, Syndrome X, your risk for heart attack doubles, and it triples the odds that your heart attack or brain attack are going to be deadly. And that was done in a study of over 28,000 women on that one. Okay. Now, with insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome, those are also linked heavily with higher risk of cancers of the bladder, the breast, the colon, cervix, pancreas, prostate, and uterus. Okay. So now that I'm on cancer and fibers, let me go to this study for you guys here. Now, Harvard, you can find this on Harvard. If you type in Harvard and fiber, this website should be one or two that pops up. All right. So they did a study on more than 90,000 premenopausal women. And they even compared those that grew up eating a lot of fiber to not so much fiber. And there was a 25% reduced risk of breast cancer there. You guys, that's huge. My mom had breast cancer, and if she wouldn't have had a healthy lifestyle, I think it would have turned out way worse. She was huge on getting her fiber in. She taught me very well at an early age. So keep in mind, and I'm going to go over the different types of fiber that your body needs. Okay. So again, heart disease, type 2, breast cancers, colon cancers, constipation, diverticulosis. So if you have been diagnosed with those, really, really important. So let me touch up on the different types of fibers here. We've got soluble and insoluble. Insoluble is the most common, right? That's going to be the fiber that's going to help you poop. It's going to help you with hemorrhoids. So if you're dealing with any of that, or you're taking, Metamucil, Benefiber, chia seed, psyllium husk, that sort of thing, that's going to help go to the bathroom. Now, soluble fiber is the one that we're really, really not paying attention to. This is the one that's going to help with those diseases, okay? Lowering glucose levels, blood cholesterol. And when your gut health is jacked up, guess what? Your hormones are also jacked up as well. We've got 80% of our immune system is located in our gut, so we really need to get that soluble fiber in, okay? So let me touch up on exactly the fiber and what it does and what is in it. So I'm actually going to flip the camera around here for just a second and go over this fiber. Okay, and then I'll take you back to those. So Metamucil and Benefiber, those are like a single source fiber. That's like the insoluble fibers. So let me give you a visual here for a second. With those kind of fibers, have you ever made a stew or a soup and you've dumped cornstarch or flour into it and it just balls, it just clumps in there and it stays? Well, that's what it's doing inside your tummy when you're eating or you just take it. It's really just sitting there. There's no surface area it's covering, okay? So really important to know the difference between those two. Now, in the balance fiber, in this fiber, there are several main things that play a huge role that sets us apart from anything else out there on the market. So you've got chromium. I'm going to go over the importance of chromium. A lot of you guys probably have no idea how important chromium is to your body. Okay, so chromium, carbonate, B vitamins, and of course you've got to have that viscous fiber, soluble, insoluble, both fibers. Okay, so when you have the carbonate or chromium, excuse me, that is incredibly important trace mineral that our body needs. And what it helps to do is it helps to restore our insulin sensitivity. So you're getting the chromium, you're getting the B vitamins, as we all know is great for energy. It helps to boost that mood. That's usually when people are feeling kind of low, especially in winter. A lot of us get vitamin B shots, right? So you've got that chromium, which I'm going to touch up on in detail here in a second. You've got the B vitamins. There are some other vitamins as well in this too. And here's the kicker that sets it apart differently from just a fiber that balls in the stomach is you have carbonate. So when you mix carbonate with bile acid, it bubbles and it expands. Because what we want to do is we want to cover more surface area in our tummies, okay? We want to coat it. It's encapsulating the food that we're eating, right? So what's happening is it's slowing down the digestion of carbohydrates into our body. Protein and fats really don't spike your insulin hardly at all. It's those carbs that do, okay? Now, keep in mind if you are eating starchy vegetables and you're dealing with blood sugar issues or triglyceride issues, those are actually known to raise that. So be cognizant of that, okay? If you're like, but I'm eating protein and vegetables, but my triglycerides still suck and my blood sugar still sucks, that could be why, okay? Now, it's also restoring leptin. Leptin is one of our hormones in the body. One of its jobs is to keep us fuller longer. Okay, it's our body's natural portion control. When you have soluble fiber that mixes with water or bile acid, guess what it's going to do? It's going to thicken and it's going to cause a gel-like substance, keeping us fuller longer. Okay, so that's where you're seeing the hormone leptin is now being restored. Okay, now again too, because it's slowing everything down, we're able to start burning our stored fat. We're lowering our triglycerides. Cholesterol is coming down. So let me show you a little bit more information on chromium here and the importance of getting that in. Now, you've got to have some specifics here. It can't just be, let me take some supplements over the counter, like a Walmart supplement. Guys, those really don't have a whole lot of anything in them, and they've got a lot of fillers in them. Plus, it could be really easy for you to overdose on chromium. Do not do that, because then you can get dizzy, you can feel sick, it won't be fun. Okay, so chromium is a huge player in the action of insulin and regulating your blood glucose levels. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see some of this here. Okay, so that really helps when it comes to type 2 diabetes. Really, really important, all right? Same with body composition. Again here, I mean, it's just going over how many cells that they see with chromium. So it's going to help suppress your appetite. It's going to break down fat. It's going to stimulate that heat production. All right. So now you've got a mild increase in your calorie usage, which is awesome. All right. So you've got to be really careful though. If you are taking a supplement like this on its own, you can easily get too much of that. All right. So when we are talking about, let me flip the camera around again. So when we're talking about this little tiny packet here with having the chromium, the carbonate, the fibers, the B vitamins, that's going to be essential for putting that back into your body. I look at it as a one-stop shop. I don't take a multivitamin anymore. I don't do my B shots anymore. I get everything I need other than I do take omega-3s and vitamin C. I get everything I need right here. I don't do pre or probiotics anymore. This is feeding your good gut health bacteria, okay? So you don't need to take one of those. So I'm going to explain something when it comes to gut bacteria. Dang near all of us have parasites. It's just what it is. We do. We all have parasites. It's not a secret. All right. You can't do a regular cleanse to get rid of those. You actually have to do a parasite cleanse to get rid of those parasites. So if you're noticing that you're on the system and let's say, you know, it's been at least 30 to 90 day range and you're still having a little difficulty, maybe you're not seeing a budge with measurements or weight. I like measurements better, those of you that listen to my lives. You are probably going to need, I say probably even though I'm almost 100% sure, you're going to need a cleanse, all right? We need to get rid of those little parasites because they're jacking up your world. Guess what they do? They eat all your nutrients, your trace minerals. And mind you guys, we are not getting a lot from our food today. So we really need everything we can get to stay healthy. It is amazing what minerals can do for your body to keep you healthy and to reverse a lot of these diseases. I can't stress that enough. I cannot. So again, if you're someone that's always looking for a supplement to better their health, you do the multivitamins, you do the amino acids, whatever it is you might do, drop all that added stuff. Try these to get that in instead. So I promised you guys I would validate everything I'm talking about today. So I'm going to validate that with you guys so you can see. Let's see, you think it's possible to have, sorry, I'm missing some of these questions here. Oh, thank you, Jason. You're so very nice. I appreciate you. I hope you get to leave work here soon. Cravings. So a lot of those cravings, if you are, Zena, if you are having those cravings, whether it's your fatigue or not, what couple things could be happening. Of course, the parasites are going to eat all those nutrients. So then you start feeling sluggish, you're tired, you just feel gross all the time, right? So you're reaching for something to keep you awake, something to give you that pop of energy, right? So it could be a very good chance that that's where that linking is, but also with that insulin resistance. So you've got a couple things probably fighting against you right now with that. You know, I recommend MT0420. I recommend doing 30 days first on the system, and then within that 30 days, if your gut still hasn't calmed down and you're not feeling like maybe you should, let's throw that parasite cleanse in there. Okay, absolutely. Yeah, Jason's been on these supplements for 5 months. He is down 100 pounds. He's lost a person. He's not on meds anymore. He's doing phenomenal. It's crazy. He's doing great. Yes, so we actually, believe it or not, we have a ton of products with Unicity. So when you contact me, Yoli, we'll talk about that switch, but we also have a great parasite cleanse. Okay. I had one of my clients that was on the system was texting me, and she's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize you guys had all these products. And we've got protein, we've got omegas, we've got vitamin C's, we have collagen. It's not just about the cleanse. I like to heavily about the system. I like to hone in on the system because I feel that's most important to get you started. And then we can talk about the rest after that, okay? Yeah, Jason's glucose levels went from 466 in July to 88 this morning. His A1C was 13.3 and it went to 7.1, and he is down 102 pounds. Oh my gosh, Jason. MBC, he is using my Feel Great system, and let me show you where you can find that. So if you, MBC 4275. If you want to work with me, you'll just click on that Linktree/ChristyFit. If you want to contact me and talk to me, you can click there. And this is the program that Jason is on right here. If you click on that third one, that's the program that Jason is on. Okay. So, about the cleanse. We were talking about the cleanse, I think. You're very welcome. So we were going over the cleanse. She asked for a recommendation on the cleanse. We actually have one. So if you want that link from me, contact me right here and I will send you my direct link so you guys can work with me with that, okay? Hopefully that answered your question. All right, so I promised you some validation. So those of you that are in the medical field know about the PDR.net. This is the prescriber's digital reference. The physicians trust this. When they need help with what their medication is doing, and they need help with what other medications interact with each other, this is where they go, okay? So let's talk about balance. And we have 18 of our products in here. We are the only company that has 18 natural plant-based products in the PDR.net. All the other ones are medication, okay? So gives you the description, benefits and research. This is where it's going to validate everything I just talked about, right? So helping aid in weight loss. Increasing your fullness, so we're restoring leptin. It's that hormone. It's our body's natural portion control, okay? It's also improving your cholesterol levels, reduction in LDL, improving your blood glucose levels, improving your metabolic process, reducing your triglycerides. Now, references, American Diabetes Association and American Heart Association, okay? Now that I'm on this topic, I want to show you a study that was done with University of Sydney. Bye, Jason. Okay, so most of you, some know, some may know this and some don't. University of Sydney, they are the ones that developed the glycemic index. I'm trying to get that in so you guys can see this for the most part. So what we did is we handed him balance. We handed him this fiber here with the chromium carbonate, B vitamins, insoluble, soluble fibers, and said, hey, we want you guys to test this because you are the king of the glycemic index research. So they did. They used white bread in their testing. So blue here is going to be your glucose levels. Red is white bread. The green is eating white bread with 1 serving of the balance. BIOS Life and Balance, same thing. We just offer it in many different countries. So it's called BIOS Life in other countries, okay? So we're not just United States, we are everywhere, which is phenomenal because they have very hard restrictions to get certain supplements into their country, okay? Purple here, that is 2 servings of the white bread, or 2 servings of the balance with white bread. So what they had found that there's a 20% reduction in your blood glucose levels with 1 serving of balance and a 28% reduction with 2 servings with your blood glucose levels. Now let's talk about blood insulin levels here. Same colors apply, same chart. With 1 serving of balance, there was a 13% reduction in blood insulin levels, and it more than doubled a 27% reduction with 2 servings of balance with your blood insulin levels, okay? So really important, like I said, research. Make sure there's peer reviews. Make sure there's studies. We are in the PDR.net. That's just amazing. Absolutely amazing, okay? As well as a few other, so right here, you know, NSF International, we have a lot of athletes that are using this as well too. And with athletes, they have to be very careful on what they take. Otherwise, they can get popped for certain things. Even over the counter, say pre-workouts can do that, right? Clinical studies. I just showed you the University of Sydney. Same with Cleveland Clinic, Brigham Young, several other ones here. Our products are patented. Nobody else can compare to what we've got. They will never be able to replicate this. We have our own farms, so all of our ingredients are sourced from our own farms, our own scientists and specialists, okay? 90-day money-back guarantee here. So get your blood work done, check your health out, start jotting down what you're experiencing. If you literally see no changes within those 90 days in that blood work and your health, you get your money back. That simple. It's super easy, but you get 90 days of my help, which is pretty awesome. All right. And again, if you guys, to show you really quick, if you do want to contact me, you can go to my main page here and click on Linktree/ChristyFit. I also have my, Christy Fit is also one of my websites for my nutritionalist and personal training as well. But you can contact me here with questions. I have a Facebook group, and I have not been good lately on posting with the holidays. I'm so sorry. If you just want to buy that from me and work with me personally, click on the Buy Now with the Balance in Unimate. The code should automatically be put in for you guys, okay? Let me give you some little tidbits here to finish this up. If you guys have questions, please ask. So I mentioned earlier, I'm going to take a couple different ones here. Okay. So with the Unimate, you drink it first thing in the morning. Okay. This is going to help you fast. This is a tool that's going to help you fast. If you've got high cortisol, this is going to be your friend. It's going to help with that stress. It's going to help with oxidative stress, okay? These are my 2 favorite flavors. Lemon's my top favorite. I love it with cinnamon. And I also like the Unimate Black. It's like a black tea, very mild coffee taste, okay? Very mild coffee taste, all right? More so of a black tea taste, I think. So I will do mine hot in the morning. And then here's the fun part. Remember when I mentioned it helps with, if you are very active, it's going to help with your strength. It's going to increase that by 13% and your aerobic by 5% in one single use. So guess what I do? This is my pre-workout. This right here. And I mix a little bit of the matcha energy with it too. So I take it twice a day. Those of you that are doing really crazy heavily fasts, they will drink this 3 times a day. Morning, lunch, and nighttime, okay, to get them through the fast. To give them those vitamins, those amino acids that your body needs, okay? Now, when you break your fast, I highly recommend breaking your fast with really good fats. Stay away from the omega-6s if possible. High protein. The older we get, we need more protein. I'm not getting any younger. I'm in my mid-40s, so guess I have to crank up my protein just a little bit more. it does get harder to put on muscle as we get older, as well as losing that fat, okay? So sometimes we just need a little bit of help with that. So break your fast with protein fats first. Again, if you're a starchy vegetable eater and you're struggling with triglycerides or blood sugar levels, remember they can be known to raise those, okay? So if you're still having problems, you say you've cut all your carbs out, that could be a factor in there. So keep that in mind, okay? Now, when you do order, it comes with 60 of these. So you're taking it twice a day, okay? Or if you're eating once a day, you take 2 together. Totally fine. Give yourself that 4 to 6 hours in between each meal, though, because what do we want to do? We want to bring down those insulin levels. We want to burn stored fat. We don't want to burn sugar, because that means you're burning what you're currently in present time putting in your mouth. And guess what? Your fat stores just sit there filling up, okay? Don't get too crazy on the scale. Fat loss is not weight loss. You will lose water weight pretty quickly, right? When anybody starts anything at all, usually water weight's the first to go, right? It takes a little bit longer to lose fat. So I'm going to explain something. This is what your body is doing, just to give you an idea of why you should not focus on the scale, okay? Take your measurements. When you order from me, I send you out a text message with a lot of information. If you haven't heard from me, which I haven't been getting my emails lately, please send me a message so you get the information. Usually the company itself will send you out a welcome text message. That is not me. I actually text you from my personal phone, so you will actually get to communicate with me. Now, this is 1 pound of fat. That's just 1 pound of fat. This is 1 pound of muscle, okay? I've heard a lot of people in the past say, well, doesn't muscle weigh more than fat? No, they weigh exactly the same. 1 pound is 1 pound. However, fat takes up more real estate in the body, okay? So your measurements are going to be bigger the more fat you have, right? So let's say you lose 3 pounds of fat. So you drop to 3 pounds of fat, but you gain 2 pounds of muscle. And you step on that scale and you're like, I've only lost 1 pound. Well, do you know if you have gained some lean muscle mass and dropped your fat? So do your measurements, because that will give you a really good idea of what your body is doing. You cannot count on the scale. Water weight, for one, is going to be an issue. Lean muscle mass gain. So if you're losing 3 pounds of fat and you're gaining 2 pounds of muscle, you're going to see a 1 pound difference on the scale. And what is that going to do to you up here? That's going to make you mad. That's going to make you feel like you've done all this work and you've only lost 1 pound, right? We've all been there, myself included, way back in the day. So please be easy on yourself. Do those measurements. Take your pictures. I know everybody hates pictures, but please take your pictures. Ooh, yes. So skin issues. Let me bring this up. I want to bring up some more studies with skin stuff here. Give me a second if this will... Actually, I wonder if it'd be quicker on my iPad. It probably would. Okay, let me try my iPad for you real quick. So yes, skin issues is a sure sign of having insulin resistance or syndrome X, okay? So, let's use this one here. All right, so I'm going to take you to Unicity Science right now. This is where they hold all of their studies. Okay, all right, I'm going to flip this around real quick so you guys can see it. Sorry, I was just a little quicker on the iPad here than the computer. All right, so this is unicityscience.org. So this right here is going to, let's go to research. I think it's research. There we go. Perfect. So there's studies with the products that have been done with cardiovascular, microbiome, that's your gut health, overall wellness, bone and joint health, mental health, fiber, so your gut health again, and skin health. Okay. So 80% of our immune system is located in our gut. So when you have something going on like eczema or other skin issues, even the skin tags, the breakouts, all of that, you're going to be looking at a couple things. A lot of it's going to be stemming from your gut and some skin health there, okay? So those are actually linked together there. So you're going to see a big difference when you start taking that product on how it's going to help you. Even with like autoimmune diseases, oops, wrong one. Even with autoimmune diseases, there we go. Those are stemming from gut health. Acid reflux, heartburn, all of those issues, that's stemming from something serious going on in your gut. Diverticulitis, diverticulosis. And mind you guys, I did not jump on the program for weight loss myself. It is not a weight loss supplement. That's a side effect, because when your body starts working like a well-oiled machine, just like a car, when you get a tune-up on your car, right? It starts performing better. Your body starts working better. So same thing with the car, with the body. Just to give you another visual there. I like visuals. It kind of helps me understand. So, you know, keep that in mind when you're dealing with a lot of gut health issues. That can cause a lot of havoc on your body and your hormones. We've got thousands of hormones in our body. So when we have one hormone, let's take insulin. Insulin is a hormone. That's one of our main hormones. And every hormone needs insulin, right? Even insulin needs insulin, okay? And so when we're having problems and we're not able to restore our insulin sensitivity, guess what the other hormones do? They start acting out like a naughty kid, right? They start acting out. They start causing havoc on our body. Well, same with gut health. Same thing. You've got the bad bacteria. When you're eating crappy food, when you're drinking alcohol, when you're eating sugar, you're feeding the parasites. You're feeding the bad gut health, okay? Or the bad gut bacteria. And so it's going to cause even more havoc on your body, all right? So let me go over a few things. When you do start taking the system, there it is. This is what it's coming with. So it's coming with 60 count of these and 30 of these. Okay, this is one day. So when you do get on that system, here's a few things that you might notice. Bloating, gassiness, and you might be going to the bathroom a little bit more often, okay? It's not going to be like you got to beeline it and not, stay right there next to the bathroom kind of stuff. So what it's doing is it's cleaning out your gut health, right? It's been a while since your body has had some good trace minerals and fiber going into your body, okay? So it's trying to clean everything out at this point. Let it pass by. At the most, it'll last about 30 days at the most. Some people only experience it for a couple days. Some don't even experience it at all. I noticed the bloating for about 3-4 days, and then everything kind of subsided a little bit. It helped with my diverticulitis. I was type 2 diabetic. I had neuropathy in my upper limbs from being type 2 diabetic. Anxiety, depression, ulcers. Kidney liver function wasn't super phenomenal. So that's what I was dealing with, and that's what caught my attention with this. All right, I'll give it a try for 90 days. If it doesn't work, I'll get my money back. Okay. So again, the weight loss is a side effect, and I get that a lot. Hey, my weight's not moving or XYZ. And I say, you can't focus on your weight, you guys. 2 reasons. Cortisol is going to shoot up because now you're stressing about the number on the scale. Okay. So now your cortisol is shooting up again, which is not fun to have. It's going to put more stress on your body. And second, if you've been doing this for 30 days and you're still not seeing a ton of stuff going on within your gut health and maybe measurements, you need that parasite cleanse. Okay, we all have parasites. It is what it is. I know it's gross, but it is what it is. We do. Okay, and those parasites are eating your vitamins, the nutrients that you're putting into your body. So it's kind of like, I'm going to relate it to this. I know this isn't going to sound super relatable, but those of you that have had children, what do the babies do when we're growing a baby inside? They are taking our nutrients from our body. So after we've had a baby, a lot of times we start getting cavities in our teeth. Our bones are a little bit more brittle. Our hair doesn't look as good, right? Because they've depleted our body of those vitamins and minerals so they can survive, right? So when you have parasites, they are, I know, They're taking all that away. So we're not getting it anymore, right? And so that's why I love it when I have my pregnant and breastfeeding moms on the system. Oops, because I know what's going on with our body right now. You know, baby needs those vitamins, those minerals. It needs that fiber to keep both of you very healthy, okay? Any questions for me? I know that was just a ton of information for you guys. I appreciate you bearing with me with it. I do have some great videos on my main account helping explain everything that I talked about today. Some are longer, some are shorter. I'll get some more out for you guys today. And I went, oh gosh, oh man, I am sorry. And even, so I've got a couple, you know, those that are breastfeeding now. I don't know if you are, but we go through, a lot of that postpartum stuff, that anxiety, the depression, it's really tough. And this is tremendously, not even just for the postpartum, but anybody in general that is dealing with any of that. And guess what, you guys? Not only hormones does it affect, but a lot of it stems from your gut health too. And I just showed you on the Unicity Science, it is talking about or showing you guys the mental health aspect of things, okay? So one big thing I mentioned with the Unimate is it's got that chlorogenic acid in this amongst a few other things in there that is going to help boost your mood. So let me I'll flip this and I will give you a visual here and show you what I was talking about. You know, so we've got a couple different things in here that's going to help with your mood. There we go. Okay. So, you know, right here, we're supporting a healthy brain function. We're improving our mood, which is amazing. Again, metabolic flexibility. Okay. But it's also promoting feeling calm, improving focus, reduces mental fatigue. So it's really helping out with that. Okay. Yes. So you can be on any medication and still take this supplement. Absolutely. It's a natural plant supplement. It will not interact with any of your medications. So if you want to talk to me a little bit more about that, let me show you where to go here. So this is my page. If you click on that Linktree/Christy Fit there, click on contact for more information right here, and we can discuss that a little bit further. Okay. Oh, I do want to show you really quick why I am here. Okay, so I'm going to take you to my website for the Feel Great. This isn't my Christy Fit personal training site. So this is the Feel Great site. This is going to come up, and I talk a little bit about it here. There's a couple great videos for you guys to watch. After you contact me on that form, it'll take you to this website. But if you're curious on what to eat, I made this for you guys to download for free. You don't have to put in your information. You just click on that high protein recipe pack and download it. So this is 2 weeks of meal plans, customized grocery list. If you like MyFitnessPal, I have a barcode in there. So you scan it and it automatically puts it into your FitnessPal, okay? I just want to make sure people had a really good head start on this. So this is free to you guys to have, okay? And I also have, let me show you my Christy Fit site too. I'm going to show you a few other things I've got here. And this is why I hone in heavily on nutrition along with being active. So this is my personal training website. So if you need some help with nutrition, I have all sorts of programs here. A lot of testimonials too. So if you're looking at, there's a work at home workout there too I have for you guys. Healthy treats collection, immunity support pack, breakfast recipe, metabolic repair, kickstart fat loss. I've got so many different ones here. So spring and fitness, low carb if you are a low carb person. I've got those in there too. Plant-based if you're vegan or vegetarian, and then a good little detox program there. So I've got all that available. Absolutely. All right. So any questions for me at all on this? Can someone reply? I just did. I answered your question. So you're diabetic, you take insulin. Absolutely, this is good for you. So Chrissy, the parasite cleanse, I don't have the link on there yet for the parasite cleanse. So if you just go to that link tree I showed you, hit contact me right there, and I'll send you my direct link for that parasite cleanse for you. I should put it, actually, when we get off here, I will make, actually, I think I can do this right now for you guys, I believe. Or I'll do it when I get off here so I'm not wasting time. So I'll fix my jot form so that way I have that parasite cleanse link in there for you guys to purchase from. But for now, if you just want to send me your contact info, I will text you over the direct link for that parasite cleanse. Super easy. Any questions on anything with all the information? Oh, thank you so much. And Yoli, we'll connect on how you can swap over. All you really have to do is use a completely different email address, really. It's that simple. But we can talk about that. I'll go in a little bit of detail with you on that as well, too. Okay. So I will try to go in and follow you guys as well. So that way, if you guys have questions, I do my best to read all the messages through TikTok. Sometimes it's hard. So you can also contact me through Instagram. I've got my link there, or that contact form. I try to make it as easy as possible for you guys. So if there are no other questions, I am going to hop off here and start sending messages to you guys and get some videos out for you guys as well too. So I appreciate everything and you guys hanging in there with me for this hour and a half-ish live. I appreciate it. Oh gosh, yeah, with all those hormones, whew, absolutely. So as we go through menopause, we're dealing with our metabolism slowing down. Things just aren't going right. We're dealing with that belly fat. We're tired all the time. Our hormones are going like this. So it's going to help regulate some of those hormones for you, okay? It's going to help with your mood. It's going to help give you some energy. It's going to help you sleep better. Now, another thing, and I'm going to throw this out there. It has nothing to do with the system or the supplements I'm talking about. But if you guys have ever tried DIM, D-I-M, you can find it anywhere. Try and find a really good company though with their DIM. But DIM can really help too when you're going through menopause or perimenopausal, even post-menopause. So pick some of that up too and see if that will help you. Oh, awesome, Fran. I am so excited. Let me know when you decide to purchase, so that way I can send you messages. Again, I haven't been getting my emails when you guys purchase from me. So I will make sure that you guys get everything you need and make sure you're linked to me. It's been the weirdest thing. I don't know why. So yeah, it's DIM is what it is. Actually, let me see if I can look it up for you guys and I'll show you. I get it through, I see a functional medicine doctor, so she's pretty awesome. And I get it through her. There we go. Let me see if I can find the good one here. I know Amazon has some. I'm just going to show you. There we go. Let's see, this one might be. And this isn't exactly the, they have a couple different ones on there. So I'm just going to go to Amazon and show you real quick here. It's giving me everything else other than DIM. There we go. Okay, I'm going to flip this around so you can see it. All right. So this isn't the one I recommend, but this is just what it's called, DIM. Okay, that's all it is. And that's going to help with some hormonal issues there. Okay. All right. All right, you guys. Okay, Yoli, I will make sure to contact you as well. Oh, Jado, I'm so sorry. Absolutely. Okay. Do you have, if you guys are not already in communication with me and have my phone number, again, go to my main page and fill out the contact form under Linktree/Christy Fit, and I can definitely help you with that, and we can see what we can do there. Absolutely. So there's so many things that is preventable with the body, disease-wise, hormonal, and gut health-wise. You guys, there's so much we can do out there. Absolutely. So we really haven't been dealt a great hand with how much processed foods are out there and our foods being stripped. And there's just a lot of things that go against us. You know, the stressors, sleep, all that plays such a huge role. So we'll see what we can do. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. If I don't see some of you on my lives within the week, have a wonderful, wonderful New Year's and be safe out there. Thank you, guys.